Hey everybody, welcome to the Theotek podcast tonight. And this evening we'll be discussing the show Agent Carter for an hour. So go ahead and tune it in so we can all watch together. No, I'm kidding. That's actually something we were just talking about it right before we went on live. We have a few fans. No, I'm Kevin Purcell, and these are the guys, and we're gonna sit around like a bunch of old farts at a barber shop and talk about the good old days of Bible software, that is. And we're actually going to share what is your first experience using Bible software or a Bible app, digital Bible study, which is sort of the all-encompassing term that I like to use for any form of digital Bible reading or Bible study. And so we're going to talk about that. What was it like? What was the first tool you used it on? And what are you now glad that you either don't have to do anymore or you can do that you used to not be able to do? We'll look into that together. We got the whole complement of the Theotek crew tonight, which is always good news. And so, hey guys, glad to have you all with us. Is anybody in a voting state tonight?
No.
Okay, I know we had a bunch of...
Probably. I don't really care. I can't vote in anybody's preliminaries anyway. I'm an independent.
Yeah, well, I'm an independent as well, but that allows me, this state, I can vote in either one. So.
Yeah, it varies by state. New Jersey, I can too. I can vote anywhere I want.
Yeah, I didn't think we had any Super Tuesday people, so anyway, that's all right because...
and if we did, who would we vote for? I didn't say that, sorry.
Go Donald Trump. No, I'm kidding. I'm really kidding. Anyway, so we won't talk politics. We'll have fun talking Bible study, which is far more important. But let's just go around the horn and real quickly, just we've got Antoine Wright, who's with Mobile Ministry Magazine, among other things. Good evening, Antoine.
Hey guys, and if you guys are tuning in, waiting for the registration for the ICCM conference, I am doing it right now.
All right, he's the, what's that stand for again?
The International Conference of Computing and Mission. The registration was actually supposed to go live 20 hours ago.
All right. Well, that's okay. Better late than never. And we've got LaRosa Johnson out on the West Coast, able to join us now that we do our evening version of the podcast from Olive Tree Bible Software and Urban Scholar. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Staying busy.
That's right. And dreaming of the days of getting an iPad Pro, he was telling us beforehand.
Yeah.
Not yet, though.
We'll talk about that.
And then we also have Rick Mansfield. He's with Accordance Bible Software and thislamp.com or .org. Is it .com? I always forget.
.com.
I've got it in my
members.org.
So I never type in the address. So. And thank you for being with us from Louisville, Kentucky. And then we also have Wes Allen, who is with the American Baptist Churches of New Jersey, as well as, and it just escaped me, the name of your Calvary? No, Grace. What is it, your church?
You got Smith and Jones, and we're some other common name. We're Central Baptist Church.
Central Baptist, okay, right in the middle of Calvary. It's down the street from Calvary and around the corner from Grace. No, anyway, and he's from the fine, wonderful area of New Jersey. What's the town? What is it?
I'm in Palmyra.
Palmyra. Yeah, I should have said it. I thought it was, and then I started to doubt myself.
That's okay. And I blog at painfullyhopeful.me.
That's right. And
I have also just realized something.
Yeah.
Rosa does not have to give up Agent Carter because he's on the West Coast feed.
That's right.
Well, I don't watch it, so I don't have to give it up.
It's not fair.
Give up what you don't enjoy. But I am missing.
I haven't even watched any of them yet, but they're all on the TiVo.
Yep.
I'm going to watch them all at once.
Yeah. I'm missing the second half of the Kentucky basketball game. But
yeah.
That's
You're not missing anything.
Anyway, not this year. I'm not. We're going to go ahead and go around the horn here. And who wants to start? What's your first digital Bible experience, and what did you use it on? Who wants to start us off?
Well, Antoine's got the coolest one, so let
go ahead, Antoine. Are you ready?
All right. So my earliest Bible memories, it was either the Franklin Covey or Sharp digital Bible reader, and I remember getting it from Radio Shack. It was little, fit in your back pocket or your side pocket. You can type in it, find any scripture you want to, and in that beautiful 4-dot matrix green on green display, you can get your Bible text.
How many lines of text could show up at one time?
I think I had the one that did 2 lines of text at a time.
Oh, splurging.
I think I had 2 lines of text. I know I had another one later that had 4 lines, and then I moved from that to a Palm 3XE and the original Bible reader, the one that Olive Tree based all of their code on, and pretty much everybody based all of their Bible code on, or mid 2000s. Um,
Cool.
I'm searching for just even an image of those things, and
I doubt that,
the
bro.
only thing I can
Well,
find is Franklin Covey, planners and stuff like that. So
yeah,
Antoine,
man.
how long would it take to like process searches on that thing?
Well, you couldn't search really for much. The most that you could do is actually search for the reference because it didn't have a full index of all of the
Okay.
text. So you had to at least know what you were looking for, which not a bad thing. It worked for it
Well,
worked.
and do I
Hey,
remember
for the
correctly?
time.
Do I remember correctly that it also had the Franklin speller built into it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you
And
had that little
I think my
dictionary.
second one had a math piece in there, so I could do some graphing functions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. I really pushed my technology for a long time.
There's a shock.
was it anything like this? This I don't think is it, but I found something.
Wow, say that he found something. This is gonna be fun.
Was it this one?
Oh, look at that. That's the 4 line or 3 line.
It was sort of like this, wasn't it, Antoine?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, this may not be the one you had, but it was close.
Mine was dark black and
Okay.
gray, or dark one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I remember those. I never got one, but I remember.
I think that's the one we sold at my Christian bookstore that I worked at.
Antoine, I remember they had a King James and an NIV. Which one did you have?
King James, man, come on. I grew up in the King James region.
Didn't we all?
King
What was
James
that?
only is at least until 1999.
Well, I did actually. I grew up in a New American Standard Bible Church. That's my pastor. That's all.
Heathens.
From.
They were
I
heathens.
grew up a heretic, so
So, what is it about that experience that you are either glad you don't have to do it anymore, or you are glad that you do it anew? What's new that? I mean, is there something similar to that? What would you say is similar to that kind of experience today?
The closest to that experience today would be the current Bible software I use, which is Verse 3. We had a gentleman that built that on the show some shows back. The ability to just go straight to the scripture, grab what you need, and keep it moving. I'm not necessarily interested in commentaries and accessory resources as part of the Bible reader. I'm more or less concerned with the mosaic approach: cut, grab, paste, cut, grab, paste. Put my notes together and really concentrate on where things are coming from. So that's not something that's really left my MO.
Yeah, this is verse 3. We talked about it back on podcast number 44. And it was a nice little app. I went ahead and got it, and of course, but I don't use it now. But I liked the features of it. If you're looking for something simpler, it was pretty cool. So I'd say that. Or another option might be just about any of the simple Bible reader apps, like the one from Life Church, the YouVersion Bible, or you can go to your app store, whichever it is, and you can find a ton of these.
I wouldn't even equate those the same with verse 3. It's a different paradigm. I think the way just the way that I used to use Bible software, or in that case Bible hardware with that sharp Franklin Covey piece, it was just about getting to the resource. I didn't have a need to do cross-referencing. It wasn't until I got the original Bible reader on Palm OS that Strong's numbers came into my context. So I
wasn't equating verse 3 and like YouVersion from Life Church. I was saying that those apps, while verse 3 is a little bit different, those apps are probably the most like that old digital Bible reader. In that they're a simple Bible. You just find the Bible, you can search it, and that's really about it.
Pretty much, yeah. That really is about it.
All right, cool. Any tips on what you can do today with this? And
Verse 3, actually, which is really neat, a new update just came out that you can use wiki text to format your notes.
You can
So
use what?
if you're familiar with Markdown or wiki text, it's the ability to use stars, hashes, in order to get a little bit of a rudimentary formatting in your notes. And because your notes are saved automatically to your Dropbox as a flat text file, you pretty much maintain this ability to get notes that can go anywhere.
See, that's awesome.
And then, but the
And
notes
it has structure because of the
structure
markup.
to them. Exactly. You get that structure with the wiki text, which is great.
You love that, Wes, right?
Yeah, that's the first thing about verse 3 that actually sounds interesting to me.
So does that mean you're going to run out and drop $5 for them to get this thing?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Who wants to go next? Rosa, you got yours?
Yeah, sure. I'll go next. Let's see. Well, I've got two. The first one goes back to like year 2000, and I was working in my church's bookstore, and we got copies of Word Search 5 in. It was like their discipleship library. And so, being that I was working at the church and was only making like minimum wage, they decided to sell it to me at cost, which is still like $175, like the entire 2 weeks check. So, I ended up buying that, and I just got my laptop from UNC, so I had something to play with it on. A fairly new laptop at the time, 12 gig hard drive, awesome.
Oh, massive.
Can't even get that. It's an iPhone these days.
But got that, was playing around with it, and that was really my Bible software for the first good number of years, and used that. Never really added on to it, just really used what came with it, the Bibles, the commentaries, and a couple of Strong's things, and just kind of really ran with that and used that as far as doing like devotionals on the websites I had built, like Jesus for Life, Trailblazer Ministries, and kind of the early renditions of those websites. And then it wasn't until I met Antoine and he kind of got me into thinking mobile that I really got into trying to get my hands on a Palm Trio, but that never happened. Pockets weren't that deep back then. And so I ended up settling for the Palm Z22 that came out in like 2005. It was like a $100 Palm handheld device. So I picked that up and installed Palm Bible Plus. So that was my first mobile Bible app. And the interesting thing about that, Antoine designed the website. And that was one of the ways we met. Yeah. So I ended up getting that and then realized this is a great app, but I wanted more than just a KJV. And there weren't any paid Bibles that you could really get for it at the time. Everything was all public domain. And so one thing that I realized, I had Word Search, and Word Search had this functionality called ZipScript, where you could actually export Bible verses into Word. And so I took that, kind of ran with it a little bit, exported the entire Bible text for the NASB. The ESV was out at that time, so New King James, took all of those and actually made my own Bibles for Palm Bible Plus. And that's how I got into doing digital stuff and kind of got me into the industry and do what I'm doing now. So.
Well, how about that? So that was your entrance into your current career was creating Bibles for this app on your Palm device. That's pretty cool.
It was technically copyright violation.
I could distribute them.
Yeah.
No,
What
it was
was that, Wes?
not. It was
Say that
not
again,
a
Wes?
violation. Check this out. So
No, actually, you're right. It wasn't because he was doing it for something else.
it was.
Hang on, guys. We're talking over each other. Wes, what is that you said?
No, I was saying, his introduction to his new career was technically copyright violation, and Antoine's flagging that is not actually the case, which is absolutely correct.
All right.
Yeah, actually, Bible Plus actually caused all of the Bible software companies in existence at that time to rewrite their user agreements and to actually get publisher sign-off on digital versions. We actually had a free open source tool to do exactly what LaRosa was doing. And it was very popular. It was very allowed. And then somebody from NIV did not like that anymore.
What's cool here is you can still download this thing. I mean,
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, source is open.
It's still available, and
the beautiful.
You don't have anything to run it on.
So there's 2 people still running Palm OS in the world.
I bet there are. I bet you can go to eBay and.
Reader, you can't do it, but you can do the Bibles actually are usable.
Cool. Yeah, it's funny. I was actually looking on. I was looking on Amazon and eBay this afternoon because we were talking about this, and it still costs like $400 or $500 to buy a Palm Trio, $600 or $700 model.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, here's I don't know why I'm on Europe.
Do you have your VPN on?
Here, but anyway, well, that's cool. So, all right, so give us what do you think would be the current version of that, and what can you do with it that you couldn't do then?
I think the main thing now would be like my current employer, not WordSearch, because I did work for them too, but Olive Tree, and just seeing how far Bible software has come, and seeing what Drew was able to build from taking the root of Palm Bible Plus and building it into the company that it is today, working and owned by HarperCollins, and just being able to take that and expand it and add all kinds of other resources and more than just public domain, but actually being able to take and build a full digital library. Because like I was telling you guys earlier offline that like last night I was doing some sermon prep, and I've spent literally thousands of dollars with Logos Bible software, but now that I have an iPad and a full library with Olive Tree, I rarely touch it. I can do all my Bible study and sermon prep from a mobile device, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And just taking that as a tip, just be willing to experiment with Bible study and the different resources that are out there.
What is he? What the?
He's got a Palm Trio.
Yeah, I haven't touched it since 2007, but I just put it on it. I just plugged in the base to charge it, and it came on. And how much do you say these are going for on eBay?
Depending on the model, it's like $400 or $500.
Look, I've even got the stylus.
Is it a Verizon or Sprint model?
It's
Sprint.
What version?
You ain't gonna get anything for
what?
it, except for parts.
What number is it?
I don't know.
It's a Sprint one, and let me see the antenna. Is it a gray antenna again? Let me see it again.
Yeah,
I think you got it looks like you got a curved. That's a curved keyboard. That's a 650.
All right.
Yeah,
So
look, it's coming out.
650. Let's
Hey, go load Palm
searching
Bible
eBay
Plus.
with Theotek.
Here you go. You can get 14. There's one for $14.95, $12.89. One for $50. Buy it now.
I think I know what I'm doing on payday.
And here's the amazing thing: setup is now complete on it. I mean, it took all of 20 seconds. Compare that to today.
Go download Palm Bible Plus and show the guys, your engineers at Accordance, Palm Bible Plus, and tell them to get to that level of speed.
The tricky thing is, I would have no idea how to get Palm Bible Plus on here anymore. So
yeah, because that's got an old serial cable.
No, you don't need a serial cable. You can just download it straight from the site. The PRC.
Does it have Wi-Fi?
No, it doesn't have Wi-Fi. It had digital access when I had it connected to Sprint, but I mean, I don't even use Sprint anymore.
But didn't they have some kind of device that you could plug onto it and add Wi-Fi at a later date?
No, you only you could do Wi-Fi through a SD card, the iFi SD card, and not.
Yeah.
Was it SD card or was it a compact flash back then?
No, it's SD.
No, those were SD cards.
They were SD.
Here's the USB sync cable.
You're thinking of iPad.
Oh well, you can, Rick. If you plug it into the USB, you can probably
You have to figure out Palm.
This is the most fascinating Theotek ever. How to set up a Palm.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we're going to advertise is how to set up your Palm Trio 650 with Palm Bible Plus.
Taking me through a tutorial, and I'm ignoring most of it.
Antoine's from the future. Rick is from the past.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're having fun, we're probably the only ones. That's pretty awesome.
Oh,
No, I think just to get back to what you were saying, LaRosa, it is pretty amazing where we've come from, and you guys, you didn't Drew originally build Olive Tree's Bible on? Wasn't it sort of somehow connected to Palm Bible in the early days?
Yes. Yeah, the original.
I think so.
Well, all right. So the story is the original Bible reader was done by a gentleman, the pseudonym, and Drew and his team were one of many folks that took the open source version of it, along with some work that Craig Reardon did and built for Palm OS and Windows devices, Olive Tree.
And this is the wonderful screen that we all miss from the Palm.
Oh,
240 by 240 resolution.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
That's some good stuff right there.
There are sometimes I still miss that.
I just texted that in our thing that I do.
What I really missed was the old green, monochrome screen that was on some of the early Palms that I used.
Mm-hmm.
I reset this one because I did have Olive Tree on here years ago, and I had we were talking about it earlier on Slack today. I had the Greek New Testament. It was an amazing thing. They came out with the Greek New Testament, and it was actually a partnership that Accordance had done with Olive Tree, and they had done the Graham Cord Greek New Testament. And I used to have that on here, but evidently I either wiped this phone or it just wiped itself on just sitting in. It's actually sat in that drawer since 2007 when I got my first iPhone.
That's so funny.
Well, that's pretty awesome. All right, Rick. Well, since you're there talking, what was your first Bible software experience?
Wait, I'm seeing if I have any email. No, I'm kidding. What was so cool about that was it actually had email on it, and that was the first phone that I got email on. Okay, my first experience with Bible software was probably around 1988, and I was in college, and a fella came, and I had a if anyone remembers the computer company CompuAd, and we had a 286 CompuAd computer with a 20 megabyte hard drive, which was large for that day, and I was working in a Christian bookstore too, Wes, and so I don't know if you were in '88, but I was from about '86 to '90.
That was not an '88. That's okay.
Yeah, and so anyway, one of our customers that came into the store, and back then, if you had a computer back then, you were an unusual person. I mean, most people, even in '88, the average person didn't have them, and so I struck up a friendship with this guy, and he said, "Oh, I've got the Bible on the computer. Would you like a copy of it?" And I said, "Sure." And so he brought me 5 1/4-inch floppies, if you remember those, and it was the complete collection of everything that was available for the online Bible. I mean, it was a stack of discs, and so and Online Bible was a shareware kind of deal, and so it had a lot of public domain text. It had King James, ASV, some of those kinds of Bibles. I don't think it had any at that time. It had any Greek or Hebrew stuff unless it was transliterated or something. It did have Strong's numbers though, which was pretty amazing. But what stood out to me, and I think what what I saw in Bible software even back then, the first time I ever used it, was how fast it was, because that was back in the day when you'd have these exhaustive concordances like a Strong's, where there's, and I even had like the New American Standard exhaustive, and I had an NIV exhaustive. You had to have a separate book that was 3 inches thick for every translation of the Bible to have an exhaustive concordance, and I loaded that Online Bible, and I did a search for something, I don't remember what, and I mean, and it had it, even on that 286, it had it just in a I think it was, looking back, it seems instantaneous. Maybe it was 2 or 3 seconds, I don't know, but was just amazed at that. And then we did some dumb searches, like see if it can find every instance of the word "the" or "a," or and of course it could. And so that was really my first experience. However, the downside of the Online Bible at the time was that it only had the public domain text, and kind of like what you were talking about, Kevin, I had started reading the New American Standard when I was about 13, and even though my pastor preached out of the King James, I picked up the New American Standard, and it made sense to me. I could understand it, even though people say it's wooden now and so forth. But anyway, I wanted the New American Standard, and so the Lockman Foundation was actually they're the ones that sponsored the New American Standard. They released their own Bible software, and I looked forever for a screenshot of the old NASB for that was in Bible Master, and I couldn't find it. And I think probably because it was it was kind of pre-internet. I know it wasn't truly pre-internet, but it's before the internet was mainstream, and so. But that was I remember fondly. They had set that you could change the colors, which was pretty amazing. But the defaults were white text on a blue screen, which if you were using computers back then, this was around 89 or 90 that I got Bible Master. What was the big program that used white text on blue screen? WordPerfect. And so it looked like WordPerfect. And so and it would also do the searches. It had the built-in Strong's concordances. You not only have the Strong's numbers, but it had the dictionaries. I imagine it didn't have Greek or Hebrew, but probably transliterated text. But still, that was actually the software that I initially started seminary with in 1991. I started seminary with another CompuAd computer, 386SX, that had WordPerfect 5.1 for DOS, and I had the Bible Master software, and so what you had to do though, because these DOS programs until in Windows 3.1 kind of changed all this because it allowed you to run these DOS programs in Windows and you could have them at the same time. But the way it was originally set up when I first started using it, if I wanted to maybe quote some text and more than what I wanted to type out, I would in Bible Master I would select my text and you would export it somehow. There were keyboard combinations. You'd export that text to a text file that would go on your hard drive. Then you would shut down Bible Master, then you would open up WordPerfect and you would import that text file into WordPerfect for DOS, and then you just have to kind of go back and forth between it. Like I said, Windows 3.1 allowed you to have a DOS protected mode that allowed you to have both of those on the same screen, and I don't remember if you could copy and paste. I don't think you could do that, but it was still faster than what it was before, and I don't think I had to shut down one program to use the other. Wow. But that was my first experience, and it was a very liberating experience, because I didn't have to have those thick, I didn't have to those thick concordances anymore to look stuff up. But I have one more interesting story about Bible Master. The last time I ever used it, I had kind of graduated to graphical Bible software in Windows, and I used an early version of Logos, either version 1 or version 2, around 1992. But then once, and I was still a Windows user at the time. Accordance came out in '94, but I wasn't using a Mac then. But I'd kind of moved on up to BibleWorks, which was really groundbreaking when it was first released, and so I got a copy of BibleWorks I think around 1995, and so I was taking a doctoral class underneath Dan Block, who's now at Wheaton, and he had just finished the manuscript for his Ezekiel commentary in the NICOT, New International Commentary on the Old Testament. And if you look in the introduction, you can find my name in both volumes of it. But he hired me because Erdman's wasn't doing this for him back then. They had no way to automate this to create his wife was creating the index. That's right. His wife was creating the index. What I was doing was I was checking all the Bible references. So if you're ever in Dan Block's Ezekiel commentary and you come across a mistake in a Bible reference, it's my fault. But I had to look up every one of these. And so what's that?
Now I know who to blame.
Yes, now you know who to blame. But when I started doing this, when I was checking these references, I was initially checking them in BibleWorks, but it was tedious. It was slow, and so one thing that I had to do when I would type in a reference in BibleWorks, and I think they've changed this since, but in order to do the verse reference, I had to actually put in that colon, shift, and then hit the semicolon colon button, and that was just an extra keystroke, and I was looking up tens of thousands of Bible verses, and I remembered Bible Master would allow me to use the kind of the European period instead of the colon in the verse reference, and so I found my Bible Master floppies, loaded them into Windows. I think that by that time we were running Windows 95. Loaded it into that in a DOS protected mode window, and the majority of his commentaries I checked with Bible Masters. The last time I may have been the last person in the world to use it at that point, but I used
5.25-inch floppies.
Yeah, no. That was all in Bible. The Bible Master came on 3.5.
Okay.
But I checked that, and I was able to check everything except for the Deuterocanonical apocryphal books, because that wasn't in New American Standard, and so then I would have to go to BibleWorks and pull up like the NRSV or something to check those, or if he was quoting the Septuagint or the Hebrew Bible, and would had to account for like the chapter and verse differences. I would look at that, but the majority of that I actually checked in Bible Master, because it was actually faster to use that old DOS version than it was even BibleWorks because of the one keystroke.
Wow. That's
probably
impressive.
Everyone is tuned out by now. I don't know. Probably a boring story.
Hey, I found something.
A long way to go for a name drop.
This is a Preaching Magazine is a publication that I've written for in the past. One article in the past, but they have this old archive of the 1993 annual review of software for preachers. And here's the list of things. These are the things your Bible software must have. That is in 1993. Multiple translations of the Bible, searching words and phrases, Boolean searches, menu-driven programs. I mean, can you imagine it without menus?
Usually with mouse support.
Usually, yeah. Menu-driven programs, usually with mouse support. That's great. That's
awesome.
Window panes, not windows, but multiple working areas on the screen. It doesn't have to work on Windows. Tag scrolling, setting bookmarks, display at least 3 panes at once, links. That's amazing. It's got links. Greek and Hebrew dictionaries, usually Strong's.
Usually Strong's, yeah.
Topical index, usually Naves. Personal notepad, I like that.
That's
printing
awesome.
and or exporting to word processor, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Oh, that's great. And it mentions here Bible Windows. Remember that? From
yes, I do.
That was mine. Was Bible Windows.
Is that the one you were going to talk about?
Silver Mountain Software, yeah.
All right, tell us about Bible Windows.
Is my camera still on?
I see black.
Okay, because my... Let me... oh, boy. Okay. This is weird.
Now we have your cartoon face.
Yeah, it just went my cartoon face. It's like my camera totally froze, and now I can't even get back into the... This is really... My computer's going screwy too, Kev. Well, if you can still hear me, I'll talk at least. So, I had a choice. I was at Westminster Seminary the year after I graduated college in 96, 97, and I did 1 year there, and I wanted to buy Bible software, and I had a choice. I had Silver Mountain Software's Bible Windows, which was $200, and it gave me Greek and Hebrew and a couple other things. That was good. And then I had... and there was an early version of BibleWorks there, and for whatever reason, I think Westminster, somebody who was a student there had done one of the modules, and so they were really pushing it. So I was like, okay, I'll get this one, and it was okay, but it was clunky. Doing searches and things like that on a small resolution display was rough. It was fast. I gotta give it that. Rick, it worked with online Bible resources.
Awesome.
So you could load in anything that you wanted from online Bible. That was like their big selling point.
Back in the day when everyone worked together.
Wasn't that fun? And I think they're still technically around, but But
Yeah,
I actually reached out for them to try to find, like, do you have a screenshot of the current version of this software? Now, if they changed it to Bibloi because they can't call it Bible Windows because Microsoft gets a little angry at that. And I haven't heard back, and their website hasn't been updated since 2010. So someone's paying the bill, but I'm not sure who. And so that was kind of cool. It was a nice first introduction. It didn't have like an instant details pane like BibleWorks or Accordance had. You would highlight it over and it would put like this little ugly gray like highlight would pop up on it with all the parsing information. So that was kind of fun. It was a neat start to get out, and it was a lot cheaper than buying BibleWorks at the time, and I was poor. And then I had my first mobile, which was Olive Tree for the Pocket PC, which I got after I graduated from seminary. I went out and got an iPac, and shortly thereafter I installed the Olive Tree Pocket PC reader, and I bought. What did I get first? I mean, I just got a couple of English texts, so I think I started with like NIV and a couple other English texts. I finally got these. It was a big. I don't know if you remember, Larissa. Like back in the early 2000s, if you wanted to get the Greek New Testament, you bought it for Olive Tree Reader through Gramcord.
Yep.
So I bought the Greek New Testament through the Gramcord Institute and installed that on it, and then later on I got Hebrew and whatnot. And Kevin, you were saying one of the things that you are glad that you don't have to do now that you had to do then, the font support. Oh. Like if you were reading the Hebrew Bible on Palm, because they held off putting out the Hebrew Bible on Palm because all the diacritical and vowel points, they were just like Palm's font display just like exploded on it. You had to build your own
font display in Palm to make that happen.
And when they finally did it, you had to choose which ones you wanted to put because you couldn't display them all at once. So it was like crazy. So that was like the font display, and the fact that we're now moving to Unicode it's probably my favorite.
But you want to know something funny?
What's that?
Is that before we came out with the latest version of our software last summer. Summer of 2014, I guess, is the version before that. The version of our software was basically running a Palm emulator.
Yeah, you were still running Palm database. Like I used to watch the
we were still running Palm database files, and basically our iOS app was running a Palm emulator inside.
Yep, because the Palm resource controller and the Palm database still maintains as it's the most efficient mobile operating system database resource container yet. It is ridiculously versatile. It's good. It's really good.
I loved my iPac.
Now that's what you had sleeves for right there.
Yeah.
Get that big old.
And then I was showing earlier this thing.
Did you get the PCMIA?
Get this thing you plug in and it can give you Wi-Fi.
You get the PCMIA card slot sleeve. That was always great, and a battery life of 2 hours.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Pen support. There you go. If you need a pen, you're not doing it right, Apple, right? Anyway. Oh, and I forgot the nice sleeve that, like you said, that had the case, the front cover. Yeah, I ran Pocket PC, and I ran, I don't know, all kinds of Bible software on this thing. And I remember the only time I ever tried to preach from it, not preach from it, but read my Bible as I preached from it. And it quit on me, and I didn't have my Bible in the pulpit with me, and I had to literally go down, sitting on the front pew and pick up my Bible, and they were like, "What happened? Why'd you do that?"
Funny enough, I did not start reading my Bible consistently and every day until I got my Palm Z22. And that's when my theology got flipped upside down on his head.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I had a person tell me, why do we need phones in church? And I said Bible apps. That's you can carry a digital library in your pocket. And he was kind of like, wow, okay, I didn't realize you could do all that. So that's cool.
Hey, real quick.
How I got started in this space.
I want
you. Go ahead. Say that again, Antoine.
I said that's literally how I got started in this space. My Palm Pilot, and getting a Bible reader for my Palm Pilot, a free Bible reader for struggling college students, was really important to me. And because of the gentleman who developed Palm Bible Plus and his way of updating the Bible reader like twice a day for 2+ weeks, I built him a website. And the website did the version before the website you see now on the Palm Bible Plus website, and he made me his webmaster. That's what literally got me into theology and technology.
That's so cool.
What were you going to say, Wes? Or Rick?
Well, it's not near as profound. I was just going to say that this is the first time I've turned the Palm on since 2007, and it hadn't even been 30 minutes, I think, and I've already lost the stylus. I don't know.
Oh, that's great.
Shame on you.
And I'm trying to connect it to internet, but for some reason Sprint's not letting me. I don't know.
Get Sprint. That's why.
Well, I just want to say something about this. While you guys have been talking, I've been listening and also reading this 1993 annual review. And as it says, the bottom line, if you can't afford Windows, look for full mouse programs with easy printing capabilities, plenty of add-on modules, and commitment to DOS-only support. But remember, there is a good reason why everybody's heading towards Windows.
Mm.
There's a good reason why everyone's heading towards iOS.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, anyway, that's a wonderful trip down memory lane there. I guess that makes it my turn. So let me switch something out here. My first experience, I was given an old 8086 compact computer, and my father-in-law gave it to me right after my wife and I got engaged, and he gave that to me, and I carried it with me from Kentucky, and from college. I was living in Georgetown, Kentucky, had just graduated college. We got married and moved to our first church in Falmouth, and on the way there, that was back when, if you remember, you used to have to park your hard drive. If it rattled, you would kill your hard drive. So before you shut down, you had to run a DOS command that meant it was the park. I think was the command. I don't remember the exact syntax of it, and I didn't know about that, and I didn't do so. So when I moved into the first parsonage, it destroyed it. So that was my first Windows computer. Was an AST computer. But on that old program, my dad found out that I got the program, or the computer, the DOS computer, and on a trip home, he gave me Quick Verse Bible software on 5 1/4-inch floppy drives.
Wow.
It was the original version. Now this is Quick Verse 2.0, so this is the updated version. This is the newfangled copy of it. But I've told this on here before. Quick Verse, it came on 5 or 6 5 1/4-inch floppy disks. It didn't install to the hard drive. If you searched for a word that would be in literally every single book of the Bible, like God or grace or something like that, you had to swap out all the disks. It would say, here's your list from Genesis through Deuteronomy, and you'd look at it. If you wanted to search the next section, it would say, here's your swap out disk number 2. Here's your list from the next set of books. And so if you wanted to literally go through the whole Bible, you'd have to swap them out over and over again. So, and I think this would have been back in about 1991, I think, that I got this. And so I wasn't using it as quite as, I guess I'm not as old as you, Rick.
Thanks a lot.
When it comes to using Bible software, anyway, we're probably pretty close in age. But anyway, so that
23.
was. What's that?
23.
You're 23.
Oh, and a few more years on top.
Yeah,
of that.
I'm twice that exactly.
More than twice that. So.
And I'm only 112.
That's right.
I'm probably the oldest guy here in the room. The virtual room.
Anyway, in that
You're
room,
definitely the oldest guy in your room.
so that was the and I used the NIV. This was the King James version. So that was a lot of fun. My first mobile would have been on a Palm a Palm device, and so it was probably the Palm Bible Plus, I think, was the first. But I quickly got into Olive Tree Bible software on Pocket PC because that's what I used as a mobile Bible most of the time was Pocket PC. I didn't stick with Palm that long until the Trio came out, and then I used it for a little while, but then quickly switched. They had a Windows Windows mobile version. Is that what they called? They kept changing their name from Pocket PC to Windows Mobile 2.0 or something like that, and so that's what I use there. And I would say, I guess the thing, just going back to QuickVerse, the thing I'm most happy about is now I can search the Bible instantly and never have to swap any floppy disks out.
But you want to know another funny story?
Go ahead.
My first smartphone was the T-Mobile Dash, and I did not get that phone until I was getting ready to move to Austin to work for Word Search, and that was when I first started using Olive Tree.
Say that last part again?
It wasn't until I got that phone that I started using Olive Tree on a mobile device.
Oh, okay.
And it's like all the resources I got from that, I got from Antoine, that he had gotten from Drew as review units.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, I didn't get most of mine. I did get from when I went onto iOS. That's when I got most of my Olive Tree stuff because I don't even remember what happened to. I lost track of all that old content that I bought. I bought it at a Lifeway Christian store in a shrink-wrapped box, and it probably had King James and NIV and a few commentary or so, maybe Matthew Henry or something like that. It was like $29.95. But now I'm mostly a Logos user, not Logos. By the way, Logos, it's pronounced Logos. There's no omega in the word, and so please correct yourselves.
We're going to get nasty emails now.
All of you guys, you can send them to me all they want. They know they're wrong. Anyway, well, this has been fun. It's kind of an interesting walk down memory lane. You guys got some our favorite things? I know Rick has one.
Yeah, I've got one.
All right, why don't you, while Rick's getting set up, why don't you share yours?
Well, mine, it's not a new item, and I don't even have it yet. It won't arrive until tomorrow. But I've been working on trying to figure out what I'm going to do as far as stylus goes, because like I talked about, I've been debating getting the iPad Pro because I absolutely love the Apple Pencil because we've got one in the office and I play with it all the time. But it's like I can't justify buying an iPad Pro and buying the Apple Pencil because the primary place I want to use it is in church, and I can't imagine taking an iPad Pro and having that sitting on my lap at church.
I do it every Sunday. I'm serious. I do it every Sunday.
See, there you go. There you go. Thank you. I was waiting for that.
And I love having the larger screen. I'm serious. You really ought to rethink it. I do it every Sunday.
And really,
I teach from it, and then I use it.
Once you get used to having it, it does not seem that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had it in our. We had one in my
house. But in the meantime, one of my
and it can double as a
had,
TV tray if you want to put some food on it.
In the winter, awesome. you can go downhill on it on the snow.
You can play solitaire on one half. You can have your Bible software open on the other half. It's good.
Morning sermons.
Continue on, Rosa. So what's your pick?
My pick is the other pencil, but from 53. And so yesterday, a coworker told me that he had bought one a couple months ago, and he'd been trying out different styluses. So I was like, you know what? Let me play with your pencil. And so, because I've been using the Adonit Jot Pro, which is the one with the little plastic disc at the end, and it works okay for what I do, but I wanted something a little bit smoother and a little quieter because the little plastic tip, you tapping on glass just makes a little noise and kind of distracting in church. So decided to play with the pencil and came to find out that it writes really smooth, at least for the way that I write. And so with all the different writing apps that I've tried, it works really well. And then there's Antoine showing off his. And he's been trying to tell me to get one for the last 2 years or so. But yeah, finally decided to listen to Antoine, and I've got the pencil coming tomorrow.
Is the pencil Bluetooth?
It is Bluetooth.
So what?
But it also works
with specific. It works with specific apps, so it has like palm rejection and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, depending on the app, it has SDK, and so like I know apps like GoodNotes has palm rejection, so does OneNote, but there are
An
other ones.
eraser and a few other things. Wes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm left-handed, so for me, I have to be really careful with the stylus because I'm just dragging my palm across the screen constantly.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting this tomorrow and playing around with it.
And 53 has done a good job of making their paper app a little bit more note-taking friendly. It seemed primarily when I first started using it, I was like, I can't imagine really using this for much more than art. Yes, I know I could have, but lately they're adding some little features that like the to-do list feature and a few others that make it a little bit better for note-taking. But
cool.
It's really the paper is a really good app, you guys. If you're doing any kind of process diagrams, actually, one of the teaching pastors at my church this Sunday actually used paper to illustrate a few of the slides of his sermon.
Yeah, I've done that live for just drawing something to illustrate something. See, another reason you need to rethink the iPad Pro, Larissa. It's a great whiteboard.
If you ever do teaching with a whiteboard, it's a wonderful app for that.
Mm-hmm.
And the 53 pencil works nice on the iPad Pro too. There are a lot of people who use those on the iPad Pro.
You guys are you're sitting here tempting him, and you're ruining our planned meeting or planned episode for next week.
Oh, okay.
Because he's going to have an iPad Pro and be like, well, I just forgot that.
Yeah, so here's some of the apps that already work with the pencil. Paper, of course, by 53. OneNote, which is getting better. It used to be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop Sketch. I'm not familiar with this one. Astropad.
Astropad's pretty cool. Us folks who do user experience and user interface design use that. Canvas, a few others that are on that list. Really, Paper's 53 has really made themselves into the designer's preferred tool.
And to Apple's credit, they still sell the 53 pencil in the stores, even though they've got their own pencil now.
This app right here, Note Shelf, is also a really nice notebook note-taking app. I really like it. I wish that Notability would build it in.
Oh, Notability doesn't have it built in yet?
It doesn't have 53 pencil support built in. I mean, you can use it because you can use it on anything.
It works as a regular.
Right. It works on a regular stylus.
Notability has like their built-in palm rejection algorithm, so if you're using the pencil, it still works fairly well with palm rejection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, to our listeners out there who probably are considering a pencil after all of our beautiful gushing about it, you should know that there are 3 different models, and they are all weighted differently. So if you like different weights on the side of your styli, the black graphite one is the lightest one. The wooden one is the next lightest one, and then the gold one is the heaviest one. I've had
actually the graphite and
one for
the gold are the
2
same.
years until I lost it in DC.
Okay, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, actually the graphite and the gold are the same weight.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's the wooden
Gold
ones.
and graphite are 34 grams. The walnut is 26 grams. So.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't know that either.
And then you can get replacement tips because if you use it as much as Antoine does, you'll wear them out.
And then also the walnut one has a magnet too, so if you have the smart cover for your iPad, it'll stick to it.
It'll stick to it. That's cool.
Yeah, but you still got to be careful.
Yeah.
It's not like that when the Surface Pro 4 magnet that comes with their pen. That thing, I think you could hold 4 children off of that thing if they were all holding a magnet. All right, cool. Rick, you ready?
I'm ready.
Show us yours.
All right. So people, may or may not know that I am a type 2 diabetic, and I've actually done pretty well in the last 2 or 3 years. I've lost about 45 pounds. Still want to lose a little bit more, and I really am conscious about the kind of food that I eat. But I had a glucose meter that had a USB port on it, and I could put it in the computer. But I really wanted something that would work with the iPhone. And so just this week, I got this, and it is the One Touch Vireo Sync. And this is the actual meter itself. Now the meter itself doesn't look like too much, but what's cool about it is that it syncs. And so I'm going to do a live demonstration. I'm going to actually, hopefully I won't cry or anything when I poke myself. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the view of to where you can see my iPhone. I'm using Reflector here. Can everyone see my iPhone now?
Yes.
Okay,
thank
so
you for putting it on this because I'd probably pass out watching.
You won't have to watch. And now, oh, and by the way, while you were talking, I put the Olive Tree app next to the Accordance app just so you'd feel warm when you saw that. Yeah, feel the love. So okay, so here's the app right there. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Don't want to delete it. So I'm going to go into this. This is a really neat app. I want to show you 2 or 3 things about it. Now I've only had it for 2 days, and so I've only got 3 readings in here. We're gonna add a 4th reading, and so what I'm doing right now is I'm putting the strip into the reader. Now you can't see anything yet, and now you'll hear a little pop as I stick myself. Okay, that's done. So and you know this one is actually less painful than my old one, which is nice. Okay, and so now I'm going to apply the blood to the strip. I've just done that, and 3, 2, 1. It's 112. That's pretty good. You want it to be under 120, and it's supposed to be syncing. Hopefully, it's syncing right now. Let me see if I can. There we go. Maybe it'll sync here in a second. I don't know if there's. There we go. Now it's syncing. Okay, and so look, it says, it asked me, was that before a meal or after a meal? So I'm going to tap on after the meal, and then I'm going to go, almost hit done up there, and so now I've got 4 readings, and let me show you 2 or 3 things you can do with this really quickly here. I can go in here, and my wife is always saying, she double checks on me. She says, what was your reading? And so now what I can do is I can go in here to, oh no, I do it from the main screen. I hit the share button, and so I can share my last reading, and so I can do that as a text, and you see it down there. You see it right here on the screen, and so it says last blood sugar reading 112 after meal in range, and it gives the date and time. Or I can send that as an email. Look, I'll actually send this to my wife. Kevin, just blur out this address as I'm typing it here, hopefully there's no internet stalkers or anything. Okay, so I'm going to send that. I'm going to send that to her, and so she got that. You can also do a report, which is really helpful if you're going to the doctor. And so I printed one of these out. Let me just pull this up. So here's the report, and this was when it just had 3. Before I did this reading just a moment ago. But it will, it's got a reading time which doesn't show much, but it'll even do things like predict trends and that kind of thing. Let me show you one other aspect of it that's pretty cool too that I can't do, but I don't think I can. But there's a place on here. Let's see here. There's a place on here. Now I gotta find it. Is it in a? No, it's not a count. There's a place though where you can share this automatically with like your doctor's office. Now I can't find it. I wonder if it's. No, it's not on that screen. Okay, logbook. No. Patterns, graphs, about me. I don't think it would be there. Well, this is becoming. Oh, here it is, connections. So see where it says care team and it says add an office. If your doctor's office is set up for this, and I don't think mine is, but if your doctor's office, you can get the official code from them, and so then whenever you do your readings, it automatically goes to them, and so when you go to see your doctor, they've already got your readings. And so anyway, I thought it was really cool. I'm gonna stop sharing now and go back to the screen, but you're no longer seeing my screen, right?
Yes.
But anyway, I thought that was I thought that's a pretty nice way to keep your keep those glucose readings, and so I'm looking forward to using this instead of what I was using.
Cool.
That's nice, and that's really one of the things that I really like about technology now is that we can use it to keep track of our health.
Yes.
Do you have any issues with accuracy? Have you taken it like a few times right in a row and had it wildly different?
No, but you know what I really ought to do, and I could do this because I still have some strips from my old meter. I ought to do some with the old meter too to test that. And it came with a solution that has a set amount of glucose in some water that you can do some tests to make sure that your strips are accurate. You know, because sometimes strips can vary. But yeah, I need to double check that. But the numbers that I've seen so far, just taking 4, are pretty much in keeping with what they've been lately anyway. So I'm probably fine.
So they're probably pretty accurate. There's just a couple of reviews on Amazon for the product saying that they got wildly differing results in a short period of time. And then another one said it was drastically different than his old meter, to which I was thinking, well, maybe your old meter is messed up.
Yeah, I really ought to compare it with the old meter because I still have a bunch of strips. What was really nice is that my insurance had quit covering the strips for my old meter. And so today was the first time that I had a prescription from my doctor for the new meter. I went to the doctor on Monday. All my numbers were very good. But when I went in there to pay for it, it was 0. Insurance covered the strips for this new meter 100%, which is really nice.
Okay, so maybe I should contact my doctor before buying one.
Well, are you really, check with your insurance and see what they cover and they don't cover. I didn't care. He asked me about that. He said, well, will your insurance cover this one? And I said, I don't care. This is the one I want to use. So.
Right. Yeah, because mine broke. I haven't tested in a while because mine just doesn't work right, and I need to get back to testing, obviously. So.
If you want my old USB one, I can send it to you. Actually, I've got an unused one, and it's still in the box. That's the USB one. If you want it.
Yeah, no, I'd like to get this. I'd like to have the same capability. So
if I ever get type 2 diabetes, I just may die.
What's that?
The idea of testing my blood sugar, I'm sitting here, I'm almost passing out just listening to you.
You're talking about when you get the thing, it pokes your
gosh, I can't
blood
now.
starts to come out.
Shut up.
You get used to it after a while.
Dude,
and you build up
I gave blood here one time. We had a blood drive at church, and so I was like, well, I have to be a good example, and this is just the right thing to do. And I'm giving blood, and the guy who was looking at me was like, I've never seen anyone turn quite that shade before. Because the whole time I'm sitting there, it's like they're sucking blood out of my arm. Like, that's all I can think about. It's like, this is not right. And I freak out the whole time. And here's the kicker. I have O negative blood.
Oh, man.
They are always asking.
You need to be giving blood all the time, my friend.
I know. And it's
get over that.
Yeah, I do it as much as I can get over my great
I don't like to do it
anxiety. Either. But
do you have trouble making hospital visits to your church
No,
members?
I don't.
Okay.
It's just if it's just being poked. I can't be there when they're putting an IV in or look at an IV. I'm
the exact opposite. I watched them open up my wife and pull my child out, and
well, no, I was fine with that.
Didn't have any trouble whatsoever.
Yeah.
Saw the blood all over the baby and saw the part of her insides. It didn't bother me one.
On a related note, in October, my A1C was 7.4, and on Monday, I got the test done on Friday, and I got my results on Monday. It was 6.2.
Okay.
Which is a good number.
All right.
Below 6.5.
Well, listen, it's overtime, so I don't think we're going to have time for any more favorite things this week. But
I got mine for next week. Then I'm all set.
We'll do some more. We'll defer to the two of you guys who didn't get to do one this week for next week, and hopefully, maybe by then I'll have my Samsung Galaxy S7.
I might have an iPad Pro.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's going to be very mad.
The Theotek podcast.
Wait, real quick, Kevin. I'm kind of concerned that my battery is not holding on my phone. I wonder if I could take this into the Sprint store and
see if Sprint.
It's been on the charger the entire time ever since I pulled it out of the drawer a minute ago.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
And with that countdown, we'll be counting down the end of the Theotek podcast tonight.
There we go. Uh-oh.
We hope you've enjoyed this. If you haven't, and this isn't normally your cup of tea. Maybe we'll be back to something you enjoy more. At least we didn't mention the great story that shall not be named that we spent most of our time last week talking about, that I'm personally quite sick to death of hearing about, so we won't say anything else about it. But always find us on theotek.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel, download us on iTunes or Stitcher Radio, which means any podcast app that you can find. Search for Theotek with a K on the end of it, and you will be able to find us. And go to theotek.com, and you'll be able to find all of us. Now I put LaRosa up there now, so now LaRosa's on the crew as a regularly linked person, and with all of the ways that you can find his various places and sites and stuff. So, thank you. Enjoyed it. Have a good night, all.
See you guys.